Today we're talking with Anna over at the Goombanna channel, and if you like videos that look at video games and talk about realistic scenarios or apply real life things to them, she's the channel to check out. Whether that's things like which Super Smash Brothers stages you would survive or where the best food in Mario Kart is. She has some great videos that you should check out. So Anna, pleasure to have you on today.
Oh, an honor to be here. I love that plug. I need to rewrite my bio, I think.
No, well, you know, it's funny. When I first found your channel a couple years ago, I made a video about how many Pikmin it would take to kill a person, because I was like, that's something I'm curious about, and
That's great.
I loved making it, but like the amount of math and research and all of that was so much. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to do that again. And a few months after I made that, I found your channel. And I was so excited because I'm like, oh, I can respect it so much because here's someone who's applying real life things to video games. And I know that's tough, but the results are so good. So tell me a little bit about why that was your focus for your channel in the first place and sort of what drew you to that style of content.
Well, thank you so much. And how many Pikmin? That's an amazing video idea. I'm sad that I didn't have it.
Too much math.
Well, I'll tell you what. And I think that some people might think that I go into these videos an expert on these things, but that's not it at all. It starts with just a spark of curiosity, honestly. And then you spend hours and hours and hours and hours researching it. So like, yeah, no, I don't go in knowing about sulfuric gases or all these complex chemicals or anything like that. It starts with a spark of, wow, this is a stupid question that I am dying to know the answer to. I have a similar sort of video called Do Pikmin Poop? And like,
I need to check that out. I haven't seen that.
It's the dumbest concept in the world. But the more you think about it, you're like, well, hold on. Well, do they? And the more I can think of both sides of the argument, the more I'm like, I feel like I have to follow that path and figure it out. Now, sometimes, do I always arrive at the right thing? Depends. I don't know. Maybe I'd look back at some of my old videos and be like, I actually disagree with that. But that's part of the discussion. That's part of the fun. And it starts with just that initial curiosity, innate curiosity for really dumb stuff.
No, I love it. I wish I could say I don't know what you're talking about, but that video was me dipping my toes into it. And, you know, you just get a thought and then it goes from there. And now did you study anything that's relevant to that, like in school or anything like that? Because, you know, as you mentioned, you know, you might not be an expert on sulfuric acid, going on the Brainstar stage from Smash Brothers, but in watching your content, it kind of feels like that sometimes because it's very thorough research. So was there any connection there, or is this just totally different from anything you studied?
Absolutely not. No, I got a degree in acting and musical theater. So
fantastic.
If nothing else, the performance aspect of it, right, is a part of being a YouTuber, definitely. And so that definitely helped out. But as far as like the pure research goes, it's just a curiosity, honestly. I wish my education helped me out more in these videos. That'd be great. But yeah, no, there's really no connection to what I studied in school.
So with acting and musical theater, have you done like stage stuff before or anything like that? I mean, tell me a little bit about the interest there and, what you've been in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so acting started at a very young age for me. When I was a kid, my parents were basically every year they would put me in a different type of camp to find out like what my thing was, what really stuck. So I went through like tennis and baking and all these different things. Yeah. And then they put me in a musical theater camp and I was like, oh, yep, I'm good. This is it. I'm actually going to do this every single year. Thank you so much. And I continued to do that all throughout school. Went to college for acting. I sort of got a equal interest in film and theater. I was fortunate enough to get to be in a Richard Linklater movie. Everybody Wants Some.
Awesome.
And yeah, I moved to New York after school because I was like, well, if I have an equal interest in musical theater and film, LA has the best film scene, but a really weak musical theater scene. It's not. I'm sorry, people in LA who do musical theater. It's compared to New York.
I'll get the hate comments out of here.
Yeah, you can filter them out. Thank you so much. New York has the best musical theater scene and a really strong film scene too. So I moved out there. I only made it 9 months before I was like, I gotta get out.
Yeah.
And that led me to LA. I pursued film here for quite a while. I did a bunch of different projects, but
Very cool.
ultimately I stepped back a little bit last year, just because I kind of fell out of love with the whole thing in the
It's
industry.
tough. Yeah.
It's a really rough one, and it's there's sort of, I guess, kind of a long story about the revelation of being able to step back from something I did since childhood. But ultimately, I found this path where I realized that what I really love is being an entertainer in general.
It's
And
great.
so right now, the more fulfilling way for me to fulfill that is to do YouTube and streaming.
Yeah.
So that's why I sort of shifted gears, and I'm exploring this different path of the entertainment business.
Well, it's funny because I'm not surprised that you have a history with acting and musical theater because there's a really good energy to your videos where, I I remember one of the first times was watching your videos, like if I could have her energy for anything in my life, I would love that because you have that great energy to your videos that just brings people in. But you made a good point where it is a tough life. Like I have friends who are in New York who do off Broadway or production, and it's not an easy life. So I definitely think YouTube is a great fit for what you're talking about, and certainly I think gaming is a little bit easier than all of that. So tell me a little bit about this passion for gaming because it's very clear that you have a pretty wide breadth of knowledge on a bunch of different games and you go into them. What was the first video game you ever played that really kind of unlocked that passion for you?
Ooh, ever I don't know about ever. I will
Mhm.
say our first console in the family growing up was an SNES, which had incredible games. Like
Yeah,
right off the jump, they were
that's a
they
good
were
one to
hitting
start
home
with.
runs. I know. So I think the ones that I always came back to were Super Mario RPG,
Mhm.
The Lion King. Loved
Yeah.
that game.
Did you
It's
ever
great.
beat Lion King?
Of course,
I
yeah.
could never beat it on
I'm
the
a
Super.
pro
Okay.
gamer, Your Honor. Of course.
Okay, I could never beat it on the Super Nintendo. It's too hard for me.
No, that's my one like pride and joy. Listen, I'm not I joke around about being an expert gamer. I get my ass kicked in many games if I go competitive with them. But
Mhm.
I will say my one bragging point is I've beaten the Lion King on SNES. I
Yeah,
could
that's
do
huge.
the I just can't wait to be king. I could do the log jumping on King
Yeah.
Matata. Listen, I got it. So those definitely, but I also I loved the sillier ones. I loved there was a game called Barbie Supermodel. That was rad. I recently
Yep.
played it on stream and I was like,
Uh-huh.
still slap, still a
Yeah.
good game. I don't care.
The SNES, you couldn't do too wrong with that. You're right. I mean, that was my first system as well. I'm an '89 baby, and I was talking with another gentleman for one of these interviews. A guy named Lee, Pixel Bro Lee is his channel, and he was an '86 baby. So his first was NES, and we're talking about that. But always love talking to someone who is a Super Mario RPG fan because that for me was my intro to RPGs. And like not even exaggerating, I've probably beaten it a dozen times because, back then you have 4 cartridges and you just keep going through. So tell me a little bit about your experience with that game. Why did that game click so much?
I'm obsessed with that game. Like it's
Same.
one of those games where I can watch it over and over and
Yeah,
over. Um, I think that honestly, I would rank it as one of the top Mario games of all time. I think
agreed.
that I loved the cast of characters. I loved that it was like, is this true? I mean, it was one of the first games that gave Bowser a really distinct, funny personality.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I loved his lines. I loved the relationship he had with Mario in that one and the whole
yeah.
gang. I loved that Peach was a playable
That
character
was
and also like
huge.
a necessary member of the team. If you didn't have Peach in your final 3, I don't know what game you were playing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved Booster. They had such great enemies as well.
Mhm.
Valentina, I think that was her name, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Valentina.
In the
Yeah, yeah,
Cloud Palace. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I also just really loved the colors and the storyline. It was just like such a good game.
Yeah, I completely agree on all counts there, and I feel like it was such a great intro to RPGs for kids because yeah, I love RPGs and one of my favorite genres, but they can definitely be overwhelming when you're a kid and you're still learning your numbers and all that stuff.
Sure. They're
But
still overwhelming to me
yeah,
sometimes. I'm
yeah,
like, oh, that's too much.
yeah, and it's funny because I have a 6-year-old daughter. She's turning 7, and I just got her on the Super Mario RPG RPG remake. Have you played the
Okay.
remake yet? Is that
I've seen a bit of it. I've used
uh,
it for footage purposes and stuff like that, but I haven't played it
yeah?
personally.
Would definitely recommend it. I was very apprehensive because I love my baby Super Mario RPG, but
Oh,
they did
no.
a great job with it. So,
Okay.
so you started on Super Nintendo. From there, I'm assuming you got an N64 and went that direction.
You gotta, right? No, I was very, very lucky to get to own the bigger consoles, not handhelds, less so with Nintendo.
Mhm.
But growing up, yeah, we went through the gamut of all of the larger consoles. So N64 was next, and more bangers.
Yeah.
Gosh, Nintendo really nails it sometimes. I gotta say, I've been a loyal Nintendo baby from the start. And yeah, Nintendo 64 was when I started to get into obviously Mario 64.
Yeah.
You had Pokemon Stadium and
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap coming out.
Yeah.
Some others escape me at the moment, but do you have some favorite N64 games that might
Oh
spark
God.
your
You know,
mind?
it's like choosing diamonds. It's they're all
Zelda!
great. Yeah.
Zelda! They did Zelda
Ocarina of Time
Majora's
and
Mask and
Majora's Mask.
Ocarina. Oh,
Yeah. So did you play those
beautiful.
on release as well? And that was part of your repertoire?
Yeah, I was definitely also this is controversial, but I was team Majora's Mask. I know a
I
lot
am
of people
too.
are like, Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda game. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm so sorry. I love
Yeah.
Majora's Mask.
I completely agree. It's tough because I think like Ocarina of Time mechanically, I feel like is more approachable, and because that
Right.
3 day cycle's tough. But like for me, like that first time you play Majora's Mask is not the best experience because you're still learning and figuring it out. But then like once you get it and that cycle, and I read an interview with Miyamoto talking about how the initial idea for that game was you had 7 days to hunt down a criminal and it would change and things like that. I'm like, oh, that's such a cool concept. So
Interesting.
that was such a unique and dark game, and definitely one where if your parents walked in and saw you playing that, they're like, what the hell is this?
But the rush, the high you felt when you finished the cafe and Anju quest,
Yes.
it
Oh
was
my
like
God.
none other.
That moon's just about to hit and you get through, and that's just phenomenal. It's funny, you're hitting a lot of the ones that I'm a big fan of. Now I should ask, because I think you're definitely focused on Nintendo, which is me as well, especially growing up. What was your favorite system of Nintendo's? Like, what was the one that really hit you and took your breath away?
It's really tough because I find that every system I look at, I'm like, oh man, classic. Also, I did skip over, and I'm still feeling bad about it. I skipped over Donkey Kong Country 3, and it's
Okay.
been wearing on my heart this whole
That's tough.
time. So I just had to get that out there.
Okay.
Um, I would say there's some type of magic to N64
Mhm.
in part because of the controller. The introduction of the analog stick was really game changing to me, at
Agreed.
least. And I think that one, and when I look back at N64 games, I know that I had a hard time naming many of them, but I do feel like that had the most where it was like really defining for like there are a lot of re-releases coming out now of
Yeah.
or sequels or things like that, the new Pokemon Snap and things like
Yeah.
that. Where I just feel like that was so genre defining and classic. But and SNES is like right next to it.
Yeah.
Really close.
So I gotta ask too, and again, this is always a tough question whenever I do these interviews, but what would you say is like the game or games for you? Because we're talking through systems, some of the classic games and things like that. Is there one or two or three games that kind of encapsulate your perfect game? The perfect game for Anna.
Oh.
That's
Now
usually
now
the
we're going
response I
through
get.
now we're going through the history of games, all games.
Yeah.
The perfect game.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, here's why this is so difficult for
Mhm.
me to answer. There's not a specific genre necessarily that I am the most drawn to.
I was
Like
gonna ask you about that. Yeah. Okay.
it's not like every adventure game is gonna hit with me. It's not like every RPG is gonna hit with me or combat game, whatever. What I really value in a game is story first and foremost. If you
Agreed.
can hit me with a good story and maybe even one where I didn't expect it, especially probably one where I didn't expect it going into the game of
Mhm.
like it looks like maybe something different, and then you're like, oh there's a story here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
swear
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Okay, great. I keep forgetting to ask before
No,
interviews.
you're fine. Most of my videos, I swear and bleep it out, so it's totally fine.
Okay, all right. Yeah, when you go in and you're not expecting too much, and then you're hit with like this really profound story. I
Mm,
love that. So and also like my interests are so scattered that combining three games is nigh impossible.
yeah.
But I'll try.
Okay.
I'll say, let's see. Also, we got to throw Zelda Majora's Mask is probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay.
So
Totally fair.
we got to throw that in there. I'm also going to say something like Animal Crossing Happy Homes has
Okay.
kind of been a big game changer for
Love
me.
it. Love
I've
it.
done over 100 houses. They take about
Whoa.
2 to 3 hours each.
That's awesome.
I'm really hooked on that one.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of, I'm going to get a 2 for 1 here.
Go for it.
It's similar in spirit to The Sims, which I played all growing up.
Yep.
So like that kind of game. So those 2.
Yeah.
And then for a last one, I feel like we got to get the heart and soul story in here. I'm trying to think of a game where the soul of it, or maybe I'll get the silly sides. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna say the first Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. Okay.
We'll go outside of Nintendo just so I can get a good scope of games here.
Definitely, that gives me some good follow-up questions. So I'll start with Kingdom Hearts. Now, are you like a big Disney fan? Is that something that drew you there, or just the fact that Disney was in it was just a bonus?
No, I appreciate it. I don't actually remember. I guess I went in knowing that there's Disney because Mr. Mouse is right there on the cover. So I must have gone in knowing that Disney was involved in some way. But honestly, yeah, I'm a fan of Disney, but it wasn't like the sole reason I liked it. Like I love the Sora, Riku, and Kairi and all those characters.
Yeah, the interplay between them, it was always so interesting. And I have to admit, I kind of fell off after Kingdom Hearts 2 because it just was like multiverse and all this stuff. So it's like, you know what, I got to step away, but like I respect the series and what it did. And it's funny, my wife is not a gamer. She's a huge Disney fan though. So it's constantly me like, well, if you're going to play a game, this is kind of one of them.
I mean, it's also let her know that sometimes you get lines like Goofy being like, we got to kill Xehanort. It's insane. It's like, what's happening? How did they get this IP? Why is Goofy allowed to say that?
And I feel like it only gets crazier as it progresses and like people are dying and stuff. And the other ones, I'm like, how did they get permission for this? But you brought up a game that is very near and dear to my heart as well, which is The Sims, and subsequently Animal Crossing as well. The Sims for me, my childhood PC games, it was Civilization 2, Roller Coaster Tycoon, and The Sims, and that's kind of from ages 6 to 16, there was a lot of that. So tell me about the Sims and subsequently Animal Crossing. What do you like about those games? How do you play those games? I think I might have an idea, but if you could expand on that.
Yeah, I think for Sims, my original entry point was it was a great way to connect to my older sister. She played a lot of The Sims. So, watching her literally crying as her baby was taken away by social services and her house was on fire was kind of sort of a great bonding moment for us.
Well, that first one was so hard too. I mean, they didn't mess around. So that happened all the time.
But I love how it's also like with Sims 4 and all the expansion packs, they've gotten so creative and so innovative. And I love their sense of humor with the games.
Yes.
Like some of the things they started allowing you to do where it's like, you didn't need to, but thank you so much. Like, thank you for letting me specifically choose to talk about Abe Lincoln with this burglar. Like, what's happening? I love sort of the absurdity of it. I think that it's also, The Sims is also kind of a great escapism game, to be honest. Like, it takes me a lot of time and effort to work out in real life, but my Sim can do that treadmill in 2 minutes.
Get like 3 exercise points in a day. Yeah.
She's looking great. She's living her best life, honestly. So there's an element of escapism to it. Animal Crossing, it's very strange. I'm not actually one of those people who has this gorgeous island that's perfectly manicured with different segments and stuff like that. I admire the heck out of people who do that. but really, I like I don't, which is why I don't know why I'm drawn to Happy Home so much. The interior decoration aspect I really like about it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, gosh, those characters are so lovable. I
Yes.
do miss, it's kind of a meme that in the first one they were pretty mean to you and they've
Yeah.
kind of softened the edges a little bit.
Completely agree. I liked when they were a little bit more edgy and mean.
Yeah, yeah. But I liked, yeah, I think with both, it's the concept of, you know, day by day, you're building something, you're
Mhm.
working towards something, and kind of, I guess, bettering a virtual life, which hopefully
Agreed.
sometimes will inspire you. I mean, personally, it sometimes inspires me to make certain changes in my real life.
Yeah.
So there's a beautiful sort of blending of worlds there with a good sense of humor and cute characters and fun stuff to do. So that's why I like those types of games.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you really hit on something that I think is key for both those games, sort of the humor of it. And they recently re-released The Sims 1 and 2 on Steam. And, I picked it up, and my daughter started playing it, and we were having a great time. And just the edgy humor of The Sims 1 and the sounds they were making, like there was one interaction where he's like entertaining with a puppet, and I'm like
Yeah.
cracking up because it's just so ridiculous. There's if you haven't seen it, I'll shoot you a message with it afterwards. There's actually, it looks like it was recorded on a Nokia phone, but there's actually footage of the man and woman who voiced the Sims in The Sims 1 recording
Wow.
their lines, and it's just like hilarious because they don't there's no, there's the whole sim language now, but back then it was like just go, and
Yeah.
it's hilarious. So I'll if you haven't seen it, I'll
Oh,
put it on
please.
this
Yeah.
video or send it to you.
Please, please. No, the fact that they now have these A-list artists coming in and
Yeah.
re-recording
Katy
their music
Perry
in
and stuff.
English,
Yeah. Yeah.
good on them. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and with Animal Crossing as well, the interior decorating side, I agree. Because the original Animal Crossing, you couldn't change up the land that you had, and that was always a little overwhelming to me. I had a nice island, and then my daughter got into it, and it's now a mess. But the interior was always what I really liked a whole lot there.
Yeah, I think maybe part of it is that with the newest one, they also allow, it's a lot easier to move around things
Yeah,
and, change out the wallpaper and stuff like that. You don't have to do it all so manually in
yeah.
the game. You can kind of, there's a zoomed out sort of version that's a lot easier to control. So I think that helps a lot too.
Yeah, you don't have to push everything around and
Right.
manually do it. So,
Right.
have you played Animal Crossing like since the GameCube and all the way forward then?
Yeah, pretty much. I
Yeah, same.
skipped over a couple of the smaller ones.
Like
I think it was
City
like,
Life or something.
yeah, yeah.
Wasn't as good.
I think when I found out that a couple of them were like, I think it was maybe City Life and Wild World, but
Mhm.
audience, don't come at me if I'm incorrect about this. When I found out it was pretty much the exact same game, but they just added one tiny little
Yeah.
neighborhood as the city, I was like, oh, come on. Like
Yeah.
that's DLC. But yeah, the major ones I've definitely hit.
So you're talking a little bit about story being the most important element for games, and for me that's the same. I love a good story in games, and part of this series, as I'm talking to creators like yourself, is me talking about recommending some titles. You've probably played these already, but if you like unexpected story, it's an RPG. Have you played Claire Obscure Expedition 33?
I just started on my stream actually.
Okay.
Just started.
Okay, just to make sure I don't ruin anything, how many hours in are you?
I can just say I went through the first town. I killed a mime, which I was impressed at
Okay.
myself by.
Yeah.
And then I went through the thing,
Yeah.
and that's basically where I am.
Okay.
Like very fresh, very
I mean,
fresh.
that mime kicked my ass like 8 times before I figured out the blocking system. But yes, if you are big into story, I cried multiple times during that game. It even from that first hour, it does something really brilliant, which I think you'll discover as you continue to work your way through it. I was talking about this in another interview where it really subverts expectations. I
Mm,
don't know about you, but a lot of stories become kind of stale in games. If here's the first act, second act, third act, we're done.
sure.
This one, without spoilers again, at the end of each act, it does make a hard turn 90 degrees that really subverts everything. And
Okay.
it's definitely something that I think you'll really enjoy. I shed a lot of tears in that game, so if you've ever cried during a game, that one will break you.
No, and I want to. I wanna cry
Yeah,
so badly, and that's why, honestly, I'm a bit torn at the moment because when I play games on stream, there's automatically some slight disconnect there because I have to worry
sure.
about being entertaining,
Yeah,
talking to chat, making sure I'm, doing everything correctly and playing the game. So part of me is like, oh, do I take it off stream and play it to get the full
yeah,
effect? Or
it's
I
tough.
know people want to see reactions to things, but are they true reactions? I don't
Mhm.
know. So I don't know. I might keep exploring that on stream, but I might be like, okay, I need this one for me, maybe off
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, even if you've never broken down on stream from a game, this might be the first one because there were a couple times for me where I was just very overwhelmed, and it's fantastic. Another one, if you love story, Red Dead Redemption 2, if you've ever played that.
I did. I didn't finish it, but I did
Yeah.
play a bit of it. Probably, I don't know. I have a hard time guessing how far I got through. Maybe a third, maybe half, something like that.
It's a long game. It's
Yeah.
yeah, and
That's the other thing. When I play games on stream, if they're like too long, it's
yeah.
like I'm never gonna finish this. It's gonna be 18 years until we do this.
Yeah, it's a great game with a great story, but that's one where I always tell people, it's a big one. What about you ever play any of the Telltale games like Walking Dead, or have you heard of Dispatch, the new game that's in a similar vein?
Yeah, that one I did just play through. I played through Dispatch.
Fantastic.
I refused to romance anyone if they weren't
Okay.
gonna let me romance the water boy. Um, and, the other Telltale, yeah, absolutely. And all of the games like, I guess no, this has nothing to do with Telltale. I was gonna say things like Until Dawn and those,
Oh, so yeah, it's similar vein. I love it.
what am I thinking? Who makes those games? Until Dawn and
Oh, I don't know.
all the others?
I'll put
I'm
them up
blanking.
on screen.
Yeah, sorry,
Maybe
somewhere here, I don't
Quantum.
know.
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's gonna bug me. All right, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about, where it's very choice-based butterfly effect kind of a thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Love those.
I'm actually I'm chatting with Joel Haver in a couple weeks who voiced Waterboy, so I'll let him know that was
Let him
your
know how mad I was that I was like, "Let me do it."
yeah. No, he I chose him too. I mean, it was him or the like Superman equivalent guy, and I was like, Waterboy's my guy. He has a heart in him. That's great.
You also just can't do workplace romances. That's never gonna end well.
I know.
I don't wanna go too into spoiler territory. Okay, now maybe I'm getting into spoiler territory.
No, yeah, I'll put a key on the stream so people can skip it if they do. But was it Blazer or Invisigal, I think, for the two?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I went with Blazer, which is like the vanilla choice, but
Listen, I get it. I
yeah,
get it, she's great. I just don't like feeling railroaded into a romance choice.
the game really pushed her, I feel like.
They pushed both. It felt, I don't know, once it got to like, I just believe in the freedom of choice. If you don't
Mhm.
make me choose one of them, if you're not also gonna allow me to choose neither. And there was, I guess, really, they did allow me to choose neither in the end, but there was
Yeah.
just one particular moment where it was really like, no, you choose her or her. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
want to go home and watch a movie. How about
yep.
that? Like,
That was at the
what?
end of like episode 4 or 5. I remember that
Yeah.
one.
I
It's
was
like,
like,
okay.
stop. Stop trying to force me into this. I
Now
want water boy.
games with I gotta tell Joel that he'll be happy. So games with choice, I'm a big fan of those as well. And it's funny, I'd love to get your opinion on this, but I almost feel like games that offered a wide variety of choices have gone down this path over time, over the past few decades, where it's gone from a multitude of choices in games like the old Baldur's Gate 1 or something like that to kind of saying, okay, Blazer or Invisigal, where I almost feel like games have narrowed that focus a little bit, where a game like Baldur's Gate 1, you could do anything you wanted really and make any choices. It's mechanically a real pain to play, but compared to Baldur's Gate 3, where your choices are a little bit more linear at times. I'd love your thoughts on that.
I don't know if I play too many games where it is choice based. I
Mhm.
think that it might just come down like sometimes I understand it from a dev or game making perspective where it's like it's so much
Mhm.
easier to make a
Yeah.
game that's sort of this or that than it is completely open world.
Yeah.
So I do have empathy for game developers where it's like, okay, there are going to be people who try to break the game, and that can
Yep.
be a real pain. But I I like choice, but I will admit that sometimes you can get paralyzed by choice too. You
Mm.
know, if I have too many choices, I don't necessarily know where to go. Nothing kind of frustrates me more. Well, okay, nothing frustrates me more is an insane thing to say. But sometimes I find myself getting frustrated if I'm in a game and there are two ways to go, and I don't know which way is the main progression route and which way is the side secret way. I'm just like stuck there, and I'm like, but my old school gamer instincts are being like, I have to go down the little alleyways that get me
Yeah.
all the secrets. But what if the story keeps going?
Yeah.
It stresses me out sometimes. So as long as your story is being told in the most effective way possible, that's fine. There are some things where like, here's what I'll say.
Mhm.
I don't like games that try to, again, big statement. They're
Sure.
fine. I
It's all
don't
good.
actually care that much. But if a game presents itself as being like, oh, you can make so many choices,
Mhm.
and that's an illusion of choice, and you can
Yes.
actually really only do a couple things, that's where I'm like, well, don't sell me this story. If I
Yeah.
go into a game and they're like, every single time you'll have two options, and it's very, this or that, then I'm like, okay, great, then that's the game, and
Yeah.
I'm signing up for it when I play it.
Yeah, yeah, they don't mislead you with saying you could do anything. That we'll call that the Todd Howard effect because I feel like every Bethesda game, sort of, Skyrim and all that. Oh, you can do anything, and then
Yeah.
there's actually things you can't do. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Not
that.
anything. Like, I
Yeah.
hate to be one for semantics, but
Well, yeah, tell me about some stories and games that have really connected with you. You mentioned that that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, element for you in games. What are some stories that really connected with you, inspired you, and made you just sort of take a step back and say, "Wow, that's amazing."
yeah, well, I think there's a big thing for me where the more there's a dichotomous relationship, I guess I'll say, between the appearance of a game and its story, the more I'm like, and that's what I mean when I say like I love a story that almost takes me aback because I didn't expect it.
Okay,
So
I
one
like
that I
that.
played recently is Baby Steps. Have you heard of this game?
Yes, I have. I have not played it yet, but as soon as I
Might I
saw
recommend it?
okay, as
That's
soon
what
as
I'm
I saw the
saying.
trailer, I'm like, it's on my wish list. So yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. So it's a Benefati game. So there is a
Mhm.
bunch of like, you are mechanically moving his feet one step at a time. And it is an incredibly funny game. You can tell from the very
Yeah.
first cutscene, like, oh, this is hilarious. And unlike maybe some of the other Bennett Foddy games, I think it does a really, really great job of not making the mechanics too frustrating. Like you definitely feel like you can progress, and then eventually you get the hang of it, and it feels almost easy to keep
Gotcha.
going. So, and it's also a little cathartic, the movement as well. So it's kind of unlike other Bennett Foddy games in that it's really not trying to frustrate you that much. Like you can
Yeah.
get through the game. Um, but what underneath this layer of comedy and challenge is a genuine story that you get to maybe like I'll say a
Really?
third of the way in, something like that. And that was a game where I was really like, oh, this is a lot, and I
I
don't want to
never would have
spoil
expected
anything.
that
I
from,
know,
the trailer.
I know. So that's a good example. Another example are things like My Friendly Neighborhood. Again, wrapped in this like beautiful,
Okay,
happy puppet.
I'm just
Well,
looking
okay,
it
it's a
up.
little it's horror-ish, I guess, adjacent. It's sort of a play on Sesame Street,
Let's see.
and that has a little bit of a deeper story to it. Also, Slay the Princess, which I made a video on.
Uh-huh.
Again, that contrast of this what you kind of expect it to be versus
Mhm,
once you dig a little deeper it's like oh my gosh, if
mhm.
you do play Slay the Princess you can watch my analysis videos afterwards,
Okay,
especially part
I'll
2, because not to toot my own horn, I just love the game itself and like
yeah.
what you were portraying. The last one that I would mention is A Night in the Woods, which is a really
I'll
unique, I
look
feel
that
like
up.
that's one of my, I think, most underrated games that are out there. Uh, I don't even really know how to describe the art style. It's almost like that,
Oh, I
like
remember the trailer for this, and, yes, okay.
almost like I don't remember what you call it, like when it's like paper, like almost construction paper
Yeah.
moving. I can't remember the term for that, but that sort of animation style. It's still very funny, very cutesy, but it touches on mental health a lot. And I think that
Mhm.
maybe those are the storylines I connect to the most, are ones that
Yeah.
deal with mental health, depression,
Yeah.
things like that. Because I think it's incredibly important to talk about and tell stories of and
Agreed.
whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah.
so those are the kinds of stories that I'm drawn to. I like the dichotomy of a happier visual or comedic moments in a game, and then suddenly you get hit with like, but also,
Yeah.
but also, hey guys, let's talk for a second though.
Take a knee, guys.
Take a knee. I love those sorts of things. Yeah, yeah, those are I feel like the deeper stories that I connect with.
That's great. I got some to add to my wish list now and put on there because I'm in a bit of a lull. Yeah, I completely agree with the sentiment. I love games that explore, depression, anxiety, stuff like that because I have OCD and anxiety myself, and I remember in a similar vein, the game Celeste was like that as well,
Mhm, mhm.
where to your point, on the surface, like, oh, it's a fun little
Exactly.
platformer. And you're like, oh, it's about identity, sexuality, anxiety, and I can mull over those feelings while I fail the course for the 300th time. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's I've been thinking I've been mulling over a video potentially on Celeste, but
oh, okay.
I don't know if is it still do people is it a cult classic or is it widely popular?
I think if it's not widely popular, it should be. My best friend swears by it as like one of the best games ever, and I think people love it.
If you like
People,
Super Meat Boy, you like Celeste. I feel like
yeah,
that's the pipeline.
exactly, and again going from Super Meat Boy to Celeste. Super Meat Boy, hey, just fun, save the princess, and then Celeste, I'm like, oh my god, there's like a story here, and I'm
Yeah.
feeling things. So,
True.
yeah, I'm sensing with you with a lot of stories you like and what you're going into with games, kind of like stories that kind of have that dark twist to it. Like
Mm.
Majora's Mask. It's a Zelda game, but there's some heavy stuff here, or games that surprise you. Are there any games that kind of have like a darkness to them that you like? Am I right there, or am I off track?
No, I think you're spot on. I think I like a bit of grit.
Mhm.
I love walking away. I think in sort of all art forms, movies as well. I like walking away feeling something. Make me
Agreed.
feel something,
Yeah.
even if it's not a great feeling.
Yeah.
I don't mind at all some like conflict in games. And by
Mhm.
conflict, I guess I mean like even if there's conflicting feelings within myself, maybe there's like a main character that I don't like, I don't connect
Great
with, they don't
point.
seem great, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, well, let me sit in that and be like, well, but they made it for a reason, so why, what is the message they're trying to get across, and sort of breaking things down like that. But I think that games, just like movies, TV shows, and all types of art, are vehicles for storytelling and
Yeah.
getting across messages and emotions ultimately, and it's that side of it that really interests me. Now I like jumping around and fighting baddies as much as
Sure.
the
Yeah.
next girl, but yeah, I guess I like a subversion, which
Mhm.
is getting harder and harder because they like I was thinking of Doki Doki Literature Club as an
Yeah.
example of, again, bright exterior, dark interior,
Fantastic
but
game. Yeah.
now you can call a Doki Doki Literature Club-esque twist from a
Yeah.
mile away usually,
Or
so
there's like a trailer that like hints at it or something, because
yeah,
yeah. And
yeah,
yeah, you bring up a great point as well, where I completely agree, where I think one of the magical things about games, and as you mentioned, media in general, is that ability to really cause you to start to think about things you wouldn't normally think about. And you said something that's so key there, which is, coming away from it feeling something, even if it's not a good feeling. For me, that's such an amazing experience, because you hit on something so great, where you sometimes play that game, you play a game of some sort and you just hate something about, like, there's a character or something that makes you uncomfortable, and you really experience a visceral emotion for that. I played a game a horror game a few years ago called Soma. I don't know if you've ever
Oh.
heard. Yeah. So okay, you played Soma then,
Yeah.
and you know, the musing on life and mortality, and you know, it's the sort of thing you come away from it and you're just like, oh my god, like I think I'm having a panic attack, but like in a good way. Like,
No, Soma is one of those like once in a lifetime games
yeah.
where that message hits you hard and you like
Yes.
do not forget that
Yeah.
feeling. And I'm so excited they're coming out with a new game soon.
Yeah.
Oh,
As last year at the Game Awards, when it said for their new game, I forget the title of it. I'll put it up here, but it said from the creators of Soma. I was like,
yeah. And I'm like, I'm in.
Like, you
Please
guys
change my life. Please change my life.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm ready for more panic in a good way.
Yeah.
But you know, with your background in acting and performing and being out in LA, would love to ask you similar questions about film and your interest there, because I'm a huge fan of that. Completely agree with the sentiment where if I watch something, I want to feel something. You know, what are some of the movies for you, Anna, that really hit home or really are classics in your book?
Well, the one that immediately jumped out in my mind as making me feel something, even if it's discomfort, was oh, and then I forget the title. Cool. Okay, come on. It's Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
Bo is afraid. Bo is afraid.
Okay. I have not seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
It was, and it's long. It might be 3 hours,
That's
but
fine.
it was 3 hours of pure anxiety. Like
Okay.
I could not unclench my muscles sitting in the
Yeah.
theater watching that for more than 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
I was just constantly so uncomfortable and I loved it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
walked out being like, how did a movie do that?
Yeah.
So that one's extremely controversial because so many people dislike that movie. And I'm like, but
I've heard people
why?
like love it or hate it. Like I've never
Yeah.
it's on, we got a list downstairs on a little cork board. It's, you know, old school, where we've written all the movies we haven't seen that we want to, and that's right on there. A movie similar to that, did you ever see Uncut Gems? The one, it
Oh.
has Adam Sandler in it, which, you know, I'm like, whatever. Did you ever see that one?
No, I didn't.
Similar situation where it was like a panic attack for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shocked me because like, oh, it's Adam Sandler. It's going to be stupid, but he's actually like acting that. And Oppenheimer was the same way for me, where I saw that in theaters and I came out like sweating and feeling
Mhm.
horrible. But it's a great one. But what are some other favorite movies of yours that you think back to? Maybe not ones that give us panic, but
Yeah, okay, good feelings, good feelings.
yeah.
Miyazaki is my favorite director, Studio Ghibli Miyazaki
Okay.
movies. Probably my two favorite movies of all time are tied between Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle.
Both
Um,
brilliant. Yeah.
Amazing, incredible movies. I grew up watching like My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery
Mhm.
Service, which, you know, as I got older, then pipelined into the more
Yep.
serious, darker ones. So those are definitely my all-time favorites. I'll revisit those. And similarly, now I'm trying to like seek that same feeling. So I'll watch any anime that's like
Yeah.
female protagonist led, beautiful
Yeah.
colors. I just finished watching Free Run, which is a TV show, not a movie, but would
Okay.
recommend if you're also into that sort of
Definitely.
type of genre. So yeah, animes. I also I love like Arrival. That's one which I really connected to. I'm not really sure why, but I
The is that an anime or the movie?
the movie with
Oh,
Amy Adams.
that was a movie where my wife and I saw in theaters, looked at each other from the twist, and we're like, "Wait, what?" It's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fantastic movie.
And same with like Foxcatcher. Like
Yeah.
I love a twist. I
Yeah.
love a twist. So those stick out in my mind as like movies that I really love. I do like a Disney movie. I
Mhm.
probably fell off a little bit with all of the like live action remakes and stuff like that.
Agreed.
But
Yep.
you know, going back to the classics I enjoy. And I don't actually get around to watching a lot of movies these days just with the limited time that I have.
Same.
But yeah, those kind of I named a few.
Yeah, you know, the Studio Ghibli films, we're going back to a lot of those because, you know, my kid's getting a little older and she likes those. And I just think it's so brilliant how they did so much with so many limitations from the technology of the time. You know, you can look at those, or, you know, Akira, Ghost in Shell, where people are just drawing this stuff out, and I don't have an artistic bone in my body to draw things. So, that kind of making art of that quality by hand is something that's just so lost. And you compare it to the live action Disney remakes where I'm like, this is just slop. I don't like it. I don't like this. But yeah, the classic Miyazaki is just so brilliant and such a great launching point into the world of not just Miyazaki but anime as well. So I completely agree with your thoughts there. And yeah, Arrival, it's funny because we just kind of saw that on a whim. I saw an Alien movie with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm down.
Yeah.
I liked Interstellar, but that was one as well where again, your theme is definitely a little darkness in them, which I like, because I'm the same way where it's like, the twist in that movie, which I won't spoil in case anyone's watching. Go watch Arrival if you haven't seen it. Is dark and brilliant. It's something that we walked out of the theater like, I don't know what I would do in that situation.
Yeah, maybe you're touching on something. Maybe I need to go back to therapy. Maybe there's something within myself that I haven't really explored
I have to
fully.
do then, because I love things with a little bit of darkness to them.
Well, I think it's the things with the darkness that stick with you. I think that's it. Like, listen, there are tons of movies that I love that I'm sure are just light and happy, but does it stick with you? I don't know. It's whenever you get that really dark twist where that, especially originality. Like, I think that the two I list, Foxcatcher and Arrival, are very original. Like, I don't know, maybe I haven't seen enough movies to safely say that. To me, they were original. It was the first time I'd seen anything.
I agree.
Like that. So, and also like going in not knowing with Foxcatcher the story, like those types of things help for those biographical movies or based on someone's real life movies.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the dark twists are just what I remember.
Yeah. No, I agree with you because it's fun. My wife grew up, big Disney fan, very conservative household. So I don't think she watched a movie with like any sort of conflict in it till we started dating. And then, I'd say, well, have you seen Pulp Fiction or have you seen this or, and all this stuff. And she shares that sentiment that you shared where, you really do remember the things that make you think and kind of have a dark twist to them. So I completely agree. I think that movies that stick with me are usually the ones that are a little bit grittier like that.
Yeah, I like movie musicals too. Some of them, I don't know. I don't want to come off as full theater kid here.
No, we can indulge.
You were talking about my energy and delivery earlier, and I was like, "Oh my god, am I coming across theater kid?"
No. It's a good. I did theater in high school, so it's good energy, which is
it's mostly powered by Celsius. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I don't know why I can't think of a single movie that doesn't have a dark twist right now with all the billions of movies in the world. But
well, tell me a little bit about, I think we got maybe about 10 minutes left or so. Tell me a little bit about upcoming games that you're looking forward to. We spoke about the one from the Soma folks, which the title's escaping me. I'll put it on screen when I edit this, which is one for me. But what are games that are coming out maybe this year, next year that you're looking forward to?
Well, the ones I think the ones that I was first waiting on have just come out. So Tomodachi Life was one that I was waiting on. I also I'm looking forward to. There's an upcoming game called Sucker for Love that I was fortunate enough to voice over for.
Oh, that's fantastic! What's it called? Sucker for Love.
Sucker for Love. There's a particular, let me make sure I get it right because there's a subtitle. I think there are multiple games, so I don't want to.
Date to Die For. Is that it?
It's the Crush Landing.
Crush Landing.
That one. I don't, it's not, don't get it twisted. I'm not like, it's not crazy. Listen,
no, but
I'm
still,
not like,
that's awesome.
I would be very selective with the dating sims that I would do voiceovers for because I can't imagine some of the lines that some ladies have to do for dating sims. I'm like, I don't think it could be me. I don't have the gusto. But I'm looking at my Steam wish list now, and some other ones that are on there there's a game called Grun, which I think is that same sort of thing of darker underbelly, maybe lighter. I think if I remember, it might be. Oh no! What if I'm promoting these and I'm completely wrong? My
I'll
memory
fix them in the edit. It's all good.
Good. My memory thinks that it's something like a farming sim that
Okay.
goes dark, which I'm like, okay,
Ooh,
that's
okay.
original. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that before. I also have one that I'm waiting on called Prove You're Human.
Okay.
That one graphically looked really incredible. I also want to say
Yeah.
for people who see its trailer, it looks a bit AI, but the developers have assured that it's all handmade.
Mhm. Oh,
But
this looks really cool. I'm looking at it
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's basically the some of the gameplay comprises of those click all the traffic lights, but obviously there's a twist on that kind of
Yep.
thing too. So really looking forward to that. As far as like platforming games, I'm trying to think of what's coming out soon. Do you have any that you're excited for?
It, a lot, but it's been kind of a slow year for games for me. I feel like last year a lot came out. Um, this year there's that James Bond game coming out from the people who made Hitman. It
Oh
looks like
yeah.
an Uncharted game, which is always a fun time. And then the sixth Grand Theft Auto, I think is going to take a lot of my time.
Right.
I'm not like a huge GTA fan, but going back to story, I love the story in like GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption. So I'm really hoping that they deliver something that's memorable, not super goofy. Because I always loved in GTA 4, it was Nico Bellic, the Russian guy in the city, and it was way darker than anything, and just something that really sticks with you like that. And so I feel like I've already requested my week out for when that game comes out.
Nice,
But
nice.
I feel like last year there were a lot of games coming out, and this year there's just a couple big ones that I'm looking forward to. But
Yeah.
you've added to my wish list now, so I need to
There you
invest in some of
go.
these.
Those are I like to also like I love playing an indie game
Same.
because I feel like there's so much gold in their
Yep.
hills. So anytime I can promote an indie thing. Um yeah, has Nintendo announced any new Mario or Zelda games? I don't
It,
think so.
we've been pretty sparse with the Nintendo this year.
Yeah.
A Yoshi game just came out. I got it for my daughter. So they've been kind of quiet with games. I don't know. Did you see any of the Mario movies that the new one they just
Not
did?
yet. Not yet.
You're not missing much on the second one,
No.
unfortunately. I've seen reviews say it's kind of like jangling keys in front of you. It's just
No.
they're just bombarding you with references, which is fine. But
Yeah.
was hoping for a little bit more. But I've heard there might be a Ocarina of Time remake coming out, which that'll ruin a bunch of hours of my life because it's Zelda.
Yeah, I think that the next Grand Theft Auto, I'll pick it up definitely.
Mhm.
I'm hopeful. I feel like you can play. They're so spaced out with when they come out that it always feels like when you play a past one, it's like, oh yeah, this was the shock humor era of
Yeah,
this generation or something like that. And I'm somewhat hoping that maybe they move a little bit away from the pure shock humor
yeah.
aspect because there are times as much as I love discomfort from some darker subject matters, but there are other ones where it's like, okay, I feel like like you're trying to make me uncomfortable just for the sake of making me
It feels
uncomfortable. I don't
cheap
like that. Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like every dark topic is good for me. Some I'm like, I don't really
Agreed.
want to touch that.
Yeah, like I know Grand Theft Auto 5, there's like a torture sequence where you can be part of it. I'm like, you're putting this in just so people are gonna, freak out from it. Whereas something like Grand Theft Auto 4, just the theme is very serious and weighty, and it has some oomph behind it. So I completely agree with you. It's funny you mentioned like the time period of them. You play like Vice City, and you're like, oh, okay, you're making the jokes people make from the 90s. I get
Yeah.
it.
And it's
I,
like,
I
oh,
yeah.
they were still saying that back then. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotta remember what time period we're in.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, great games, but definitely some of them have aged better than others, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think we're coming up to our time here, and I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me and let us get to know your content and your background and history with games and what's coming up. So, before I sign off, I guess I'll just say to the people watching, if you want to get some great videos about video games and real life implications, if you geek out about that stuff like I do, definitely subscribe to Anna's channel because I think what she produces is great.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. I consider it an honor with the size of my channel, taking a chance on a little creator like me.
No, it's all
And
good.
do send me that list of game recs. I would
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah.
definitely. I'll send you that Sims video as well because it's hilarious. Well, Anna, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for taking the time, and hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thanks so much. You too.
All right, you have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.